Bishop takes c6, b takes c6, castles kingside. I guess I have to do this if I want to get anything. He's a pawn up, but I have a better structure, and I'd like to play with good knight against bad bishop. Queen h4. There is a problem in like rook b8, but maybe I can sack a pawn. Queen h4. If rook b8, bishop h6. So I don't think he has time for that. I don't know, Bernard. You're up a pawn. You're up a pawn, dude. And if he trades into some ending with like, well, e6 looks pretty bad. So now bishop h6 was the plan. I don't think he has any time for anything tricky here. So we're going to reach a position where I have a better structure and a good knight against a questionable bishop, but I'm a pawn down. I think that I'm okay. But I made a serious mistake. I mean, I just can't remember what it is. After knight g4, bishop b5's just got to be the move. Bishop b5, and he just simply takes an e5. Okay. Bishop f6 is fine. I guess I'll play bishop g5. It doesn't really drastically change the situation. Although I could try to find another move. I really want to get rid of his bishop pair. I really am not. I'm not fond of this bishop pair of his. So, now if he does something like rook b8, I castle. No, he's going to play f6, I guess. He has a lot of weaknesses. This is not like such a fun position for black. Queen e3. But Bernard is very practical. Yeah, he's a pawn up. Extremely practical player. Is c5 a threat? I don't think so. So now, we're pawn down with better structure, less weaknesses. Arguably better minor piece. The bishop is a good piece, but he's got quite a few pawns on white squares. c5's notable outpost. He should be trying to trade rooks here. And I think bishop f5 is a good square. I have an idea here. Queen c5. With the idea of knight d5. The problem with this move is that it takes away the outpost I wanted for my knight. Bernhard he's a tricky guy. He knows this opening. I don't know. Well, I still am going to have to like go back and shake my head at what in the world is a move on move 8. Am I supposed to take on d6? I guess I'm supposed to take on d6 there. It's yeah. Now what's up here, Bernard? You want to trade queens, don't you? I have knight d5. I don't have any tactics. bishop on f8, f5 is turned out to be quite good. I have queen c4 check. That doesn't do anything. He's going to trade rooks. Man, I wish I could play like f4. It's too weakening. So, if knight d5, queen d6, it's terrible. I just have to try to play solid here. Like knight a4. Try to use the outpost. There's no way I'm going to avoid trading rooks. Queen c3. There's no sense in queen c4 check, I guess. And Bernard, he's gonna just trade everything wholesale on the d file. Well, I should try to avoid trading rooks, I guess. But I can't. I can't let him on d2. So let him trade one set of rooks and try to put a knight on. This is bad though. I'm probably just losing here. Bernard has played perfectly. Bernard, the first game, it was awful, and now you play like a genius. It's amazing. Bernard is like a different player from game one. Game one was like positional abomination. Is the only word that I could really like come up with for how he played in the first game. And like in game two, he looks like a genius. You know, he like knows everything. I don't really want to trade rooks here. So I guess rook e1. But I'm definitely lost. And Bernard played perfectly. Trading rooks looks terrible for me. Everything looks terrible. Bernard has played basically a perfect game. I guess I'm supposed to take on 8, d takes e, e takes d. I just really didn't believe it was forced. Okay, Bernard, rook d4. You're gonna trade rooks. Bernard is just killing me, man. Knight c5. I get my knight to the outpost, but I'm a pawn down. It's like a huge pawn down. It feels like I'm 2 pawns down. It really does. Queen d6. He's just owning me here. Queen d6. Yeah. b4, perhaps. I think Bernard is playing too well, man. Bernard is just too strong. Absolutely perfect. f3. Rook d2 resigns. Knight b3. Rook d1. What am I supposed to do? King f1. Maybe like knight b3. It's horrible. Knight b3 and king f1. Knight b3 is so passive. Maybe just king f1 straight away. That allows rook d2. But I have rook e2 then. This looks crazy. King f1. Bernard even has like e4 now, hitting my h-pawn. Bernard is brutal. I wonder how Bernard can play so badly in the first game and so well here. I guess that's just the difference in position where you're comfortable versus not comfortable. Bernard is threatening the very subtle rook c4 now. Okay. I mean, doesn't it feel like I'm down more than a pawn in this position? Why is that? He's centralized these pieces just brutally. I don't really see Bernard making a mistake anytime soon. Actually, the position is unbelievable. Like h5, h4, h3 for black. Virtually no move. I'm just in a complete state of Zugzwang. So this was the idea. Bernard gets my g2 pawn. Okay. The only other defense is like knight d3. Bishop takes d3. I think that's probably a better try, I guess. To be 2 pawns down with knight d3, or to lose my g2 pawn with rook e2. Or rook c1. Rook c1, passively defending. And he can play queen d4. Rook c1, queen d4, threatening mate. Actually, rook c1, bishop h3 doesn't work. Or it does work. Rook c1, bishop h3. Man, this is grotesque. So I have to sack a pawn back with knight d3. There's no hope here. So Bernard smoked me. 1.5 out of 2. Second game, absolutely perfect. Well, I would think that Bernard has to be extremely high rated. We still have 2 minutes left. I would feel a lot better about this position if I were down 1 pawn. I think Bernard will figure this out. 1 pawn down, I could hold this, but 2 pawns down, this is lost. Bernard. How can I like reach a drawn position against Bernard? His pawns are doubled. His structure's bad. He's having a little trouble unraveling here. King d7 doesn't work because of rook a5. So it's kind of interesting situation where he's doing that, but alright, I guess b4 first. It's still not clear what Bernard is doing. Threatening rook a5.